again, everyone. I recently purchased these Prismacolor Premier water-soluble colored pencils secondhand, and I was getting ready to swatch them, and I thought, why not swatch them on the channel? These are still available. They tend to be a little bit expensive new. I've had pretty good luck finding pretty much complete sets barely used on secondhand sites. I purchased this one on Mercari, and I've been able to find it. You know, if you look on even Etsy sometimes, because there's some vintage or used sellers, eBay, something like that, and you can get these things a little bit more economically. So I've showed this swatch book on the channel before. I'm going to put a link down below to that video. And I already have a page selected to do the swatches of these on. Since these are water soluble, I will be going over them at the end, or at least half of the swatches, with water. So I have a little pot of water off to the side here and just a regular paintbrush. I'm not using a water brush today. And I did want to see how these perform because I have never used the water soluble version of these pencils. I do have a pretty large set of the regular colored pencils, which are really nice. They're also vintage. You can get them. You can still get all of this today. The vintage colors they're lovely. I will probably swatch some of those in a separate video just because I don't think I've ever done that, and I don't have all of them swatched in here. I don't think, if any. I'll have to take a look. But I'm very interested to see how the watercolor version of these pencils perform. So this little setup here has 3 layers, I believe, and it's just 3, of these little trays, and I did not check. As you can see, there's really only one that this person seemed to use with any regularity, this pink one here. And I did not check to see if they were in order, so I'm kind of guessing that they're probably out of order now that I'm thinking about it. But you know, for now, I'm just going to go with it. I might end up putting them in some sort of color order when I go back through this. So I'm just basically going to start with this one that was on the bottom. And again, these might be out of color order, but let's just go with it because I don't want this video to be crazy long. And you don't want to see me organizing pencils, or maybe you do. I don't know. If you do, let me know. But I think I would find that a little boring. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go to this first page here. I tend to tilt a little bit. I'm going to swatch each of these, and then let's see. Oh, let me title this first. So these are Prismacolor Premier. Prismacolor Premier water soluble. Okay. And I think that I will probably label these at the end. I'll just make sure to keep them in order in my little pencil tray here. And then I will label them as I get to the end of each little tray. Oh, so far they're really nice and creamy. That's actually really nice. Yeah, that's a pleasant surprise. I did not know if the water-soluble ones would be a little bit less soft and creamy, because sometimes water-soluble pencils can be a little bit lighter and not quite so saturated when you just put them down as the regular pencil. I am going to label these when I'm done with the tray, but then I'm also going to put water on them. And I'm thinking maybe I should no, I'll label them first and then put water on so that you know what's what when I'm doing that. And I mean, it does look like some of these were used, but you pretty much have most of the pencil. I've been trying to get into a little bit more colored pencils just because I kind of like how they work with other media. I'm not really one to use these by themselves to do drawings with or anything like that, but I do like using them with other media, and especially the water-soluble ones are really great to use along with watercolor because you can kind of accent your watercolor paintings with the pencil, and I'm trying to leave enough room. I'm getting closer together here, I've noticed. I'm trying to leave enough room so that you can, so that the water will have some space. But anyway, so what I was saying is these complement nicely with regular watercolor because you can emphasize certain things and you can create sharper lines than you can with watercolor sometimes. And then if you want to do just regular sketching before your watercolor, you can pick out sort of a either a neutral color or something that kind of matches what you're painting, and then once you put the watercolor on, it might blend into your painting a little bit more. Okay. And these do actually have names as opposed to just numbers, which is nice. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here we are. The last color here. Yes, these are definitely not in color order. So, although that might drive me a little bit crazy, we'll see. So I'm going to, and I will give these to you closer up towards the end. I just wanted to leave it a little bit further out so that you could see everything I'm doing. So this is Canary Yellow. This is Carmine Red. This is Orange. See, I think I can probably do 3 rows. I might aim for that. This is just regular old pink. Goldenrod. That's a really nice color. Goldenrod. Spanish orange. This one is violet. Does that say bluish pink? No, blush pink. Okay. Blush pink. I was like, what would a bluish pink be? I don't know. Okay, this is lilac. Poppy red. And like I said, these have been super creamy already, so we'll see what happens when I add water. Mulberry. And then this last one here is Sunburst Yellow. All right, so I'm going to do this first row. I'm going to put these back in the tin here, and then I'm going to add water to these. And then I'll go on to the next 2 trays. Trying to do this in a somewhat methodical way just so that it's not super duper long. Oh, that's actually very nice. Because pretty much all of the water-soluble pencils that I have been using lately are either the Faber-Castell or Caran d'Ache, and they're both artist grade. These I don't know where they fall on the spectrum. I would have to see, although they seem to be dissolving really well, and they were really creamy going down too. So this is good. I think these are going to be usable in artist quality stuff. Yeah, I got too close together here. I wasn't paying attention to the space in between, so I don't have enough space to do the water swatches. Oh, and now I'm going to have some purple in my yellow. Oh no. Okay. Not too bad. All right. I'll try and leave a little bit more color on the next one. Oh, that's interesting. This blush pink is almost completely disappearing with the water. Lilac. Same with the lilac. Interesting. Well, if you want to go for subtle, that might work. Poppy red. Mulberry. Oh, and this is an Archer and Olive paper notebook here. And although it doesn't handle wet media fantastically, it will withstand water. Okay. Yeah, and I have pastels on the next page. I think this page across from it's going to kind of be a loss. I can see some of the water going through and making the pastel. I didn't put any fixative on this page. I probably should have, but at this point I'm probably just going to call that page across a loss. Okay, so there's the water. Again, I'm going to show these two closer up once we're towards the end. I'm going to do the next tray. I'm just kind of picking it randomly. Looks like we might have some either white or really light colors. I am still going to swatch them, but you're not going to get a ton of visible color there. So that is white. Yeah, definitely out of order, because then we have dark umber. Okay. Just trying to make sure we have enough room in between and also enough room for another row of color here. And this is black, terracotta, I'm actually going to stop naming the colors here. I'll just let you watch and see. And then when I label, you'll be able to see what the colors are. That way I might be able to go a little quicker. This is going to be a longer row because I am going to leave more space. It's pretty. And really, when I make swatches of things, what I'm trying to accomplish is just to see what it's going to look like when I put it down. So this white paper is a really good color to, this is a pretty bright white paper, which I like because then I can see the color pretty well. And for these water-soluble supplies, what I'm really trying to see is the difference between dry and wet. And this paper, I think, is probably a good one to test these kinds of things on because I'm not going to be doing anything water-soluble wise on anything less sturdy than this paper. This is going to be as flimsy as the paper is going to go, and it's not flimsy. But even though it's not watercolor paper, it will give me kind of a true indication. Even though the paper's smooth, if I'm going to be using it on watercolor paper, I might need to see a little bit differently how things are going to work. But okay, so let's go ahead with the first one here. This is white, just regular old white. Then, like I said, the next one is dark umber. This is black. Terracotta, cream, crimson red, that's a nice one. This one is dark brown. Next is light peach. French gray, 20%. French grays tend to be warm. This is indigo blue. That makes sense. That's why I liked it when I put it down. This is sienna brown. Cool gray, 50%. Okay, and I probably, again, did not leave enough space in between because we are about the same length as far as the row goes, but we'll see. I just really don't want them to blend together. That's my only concern. I'm going to wet the white even though you're not really going to be able to see it, although I can see that it is covering up some of the dots on the page. So it seems pretty opaque, which is nice. Okay, let's go with the dark umber. These actually do re-wet quite nice. I had fairly low expectations. This was just something that I saw for really inexpensively, and I knew they kind of ran a little bit expensive normally, so I just kind of jumped on it. I think I got this whole set for $15. And I think used art supplies are actually a really great way to try out things that you might not necessarily know whether you like them, for example. Because if you can get them for less money and there's not really anything wrong with them, someone just started using them and didn't like them or whatever and sold them, then you can get them and try them. And then if you don't like them, it's not that big of a outlay as far as money goes. But if you do like them, then you can, once you've used up what you have, you can go and use more. Oh, all of these are kind of disappearing into the paper here. The lighter colors do seem to have that problem. Oh, and the indigo doesn't seem to be re-wetting. Let's see. Yeah, it says watercolor. It's interesting. The indigo is the only one that seems to have that issue. Everything else seems to be re-wetting pretty well. All right, one more row and then I will show it to you close up. And then again, I'm not even going to announce the colors. I am just going to start swatching them. It's a beautiful color though, this one. Making sure I have enough room to write the name. As far as the color selection, I think I like the color selection so far. I think you're not going to get as many nuanced colors with something like this as you would with like a Caran d'Ache or Faber-Castell. And I'm not sure if you can get these open stock, meaning individual colors on their own. But you might. A lot of art stores will sell things open stock. It's a little bit harder to get online sometimes, open stock things, because most of where I'm seeing that is actually in store, although I haven't been into an art store in quite a while. Okay. But I think that this selection of colors is quite nice. I think you have a pretty good range of each of the primaries. Like you have some really good yellows. I actually really like the yellows that are in here. Pretty good range of greens and blues. Pretty good. Red. You seem to be lacking on the red front a little bit. There's a lot more pinks. Seems like you really only have like 3 true reds here, which is kind of interesting. You don't necessarily need more than that, but it might be nice to have a darker red somewhere. But I suppose you could blend it when you are drawing. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? We have parrot green. Oh, now I'm kind of put myself in a corner here. Parrot green, spring green, that makes sense, grass green, olive green, dark green, and there's a lot of greens. True green. It's interesting that that's what they call true green, because I would think that would be more of a turquoisey color. This is non-photo blue. That's an interesting color to include. So basically the deal with non-photo blue is if you, a lot of comic artists will use non-photo blue to do sort of an underdrawing, and then they'll trace over it with, you know, black marker or whatever. And then if you photocopy it or scan it, the blue will not show up in the scan. So I think that might be, maybe that's why they included it. I don't know. Peacock blue is this next one. Peacock blue, true blue. Violet blue. Copenhagen, huh? Interesting. I'd heard of Copenhagen blue, but I don't know that I necessarily associate it with any particular color. Ultramarine. And there we go. Okay, so all that's left is to add water to these. I'm going to put those all back in the box there. The packaging may have changed because I don't know how old these are. Colored pencils are definitely one of the media that seem to hold up the best for used things. You know, watercolor paint, acrylic paint, as long as it's not too crazy old, those are pretty good to buy used. Sometimes if the tubes of paint are used, there could be a problem with drying out. So that's something to be mindful of. With oil paints or acrylic paints, there might be separation between the pigment and the binder if they're really old. And they could have dried out. So that's just something that you want to look into a little bit, especially online, kind of like look at the description and see. Recently I got some, and I may have to swatch those on the channel too. I recently got some Daniel Smith acrylic paint, which has been perfectly preserved, but they don't make acrylic paint anymore. So I was really kind of stoked to find that because Daniel Smith, I love Daniel Smith for watercolor, and their pigments are really great. Oh, that's interesting. So this is another dark blue that doesn't seem to be wetting as easily, although this one seems to be fine. Okay, so there we go. So this is the 36 color set. Again, I'm not sure if you would get the same colors in a current 36 color set, but you can always look at the listing and see. I think I need to use these a little bit more to determine whether I could use these interchangeably with my other water-soluble pencils. Some of the colors do seem a little like not so nuanced. I would say like the violet, it's okay, but it's a little bit more like the violet that you would expect to see in, like, you know, children's art supplies, for example. Let me see if it says anything on the container about their quality. It says use wet or dry, superior light fastness, which is usually what you're seeing. It says professional quality. Okay, so this is not like student grade. Matches Prismacolor palette. I'm assuming that means that other colors in the Prismacolor line are the same colors. Use with thick lead, Verithin, or Art Sticks colored pencils for unique effects. So those are the different colors. And then it just talks about that in French. Okay, and then it has the color numbers. I'll probably go back through and order them according to this order once I have some time to do that. But I hope you found that helpful. So based on that, I probably should have read that first, but based on that, it seems like these are artist grade, which makes sense given how creamy they are and how well they blend with the water, other than this one indigo blue. I don't know what's going on there. My only other issue is the lighter colors seem to disappear into almost nothingness when you put the water on them. You know, maybe if you want a real subtle effect, that's going to work for you, like the cream, light peach, French gray, white. I think for white, you're mostly going to be blending it with other things or writing over darker colors or drawing over darker colors. So All right, so that's it for today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos. Let me know if you're interested in seeing more mixed media supplies swatched on the channel. I mostly focus on watercolors and fountain pen ink, because if this is something that you don't want to see in the future, I want to know that so that I'm not boring you. But if you do want to see it, just let me know, and I can probably go through other mixed media supplies. In the past, my mixed media supply swatching videos have not fared as well as far as views and that sort of thing as the watercolor. I think more people are probably interested in watercolor. So just let me know. I mean, I do a lot of mixed media on my own time. But I also do a lot of watercolor. I'd say probably more watercolor than mixed media. Mixed media is sort of like a when I can get really messy. That's what I want to do. But just day to day, I'd probably do more watercoloring because it's more portable and not so messy, I would say. It's like I can sit down without an apron on and paint a watercolor, but I need an apron for mixed media because I get messy. But anyway, like I said, just let me know and I will take that into consideration. All right, thanks so much. Feel free to subscribe if I didn't say that already to keep track of future videos on the channel. And I hope to see you next time. And until then, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.